Hi guys, welcome back to Get Your Play Online. My name is Mackenzie and today we are going to be making this really cool shaving cream art animals. So the only things that you're going to need for this today, you're going to need some heavy paper. I'm using watercolor paper today, but you can also use some regular cardstock paper. You're going to probably want to stay away from regular white paper because the shaving cream might be a little too bit heavy for it. We're going to need some shaving cream and some glue. You're going to need orange and black paint. You're going to need a paintbrush. I'm using this size. You're going to need some scissors. Make sure that if you're a little bit younger, you ask mom and dad before you grab out the scissors, and just make sure that you're being really, really safe with them. You're going to need some markers today, and then you're going to need some tape. You're going to need a bowl. Totally optional. You can definitely use your paintbrush, but I'm also going to be using a spoon today. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to make the background for our little tiger. I'm just going to grab an extra sheet of paper just because I'm working on my mom's table. And then I am going to make this grass down here. So all I'm going to do to make the grass is I'm just going to do short little strokes upward, like this. Here, let me put this up. So right at the bottom, and we're going to make little strokes upwards, just like this, across the whole paper. They don't have to be perfect. You can make some space in between them. See like how I'm doing. I just got a little bit of space in them. And I'm going to do that almost all the way to the edge of my paper. We want some pretty tall grass. We're just going to do that almost all the way to the other edge of the paper. Just making some strokes upward. It's a lot better if you kind of like tilt your marker like this. And just do it very, very lightly. Alright. So then you're going to put grass all the way over there. I have about 3 fingers left on mine. If you have some smaller fingers, feel free to go ahead and do either your whole hand, or you can just do 4 fingers. And that's how far I'm going to go over. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of tilt it up for you. Is I'm going to make my tree like this. So all I'm going to do to make my tree is start at the very bottom right here, and then I'm going to kind of curve in and up. Maybe curve out just a little bit. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to color in this section right here. And I really like to do mine kind of a lot lighter, so I kind of get like these white, you can kind of see like I have some white gaps in between here. So I like to do it kind of light and with the very side of my marker. So I'm just going to lay it down almost flat against my paper and just very lightly. And then I think it kind of looks like tree bark. You don't have to lay the paper down if you don't want to. I'm just doing that so I don't get marker everywhere. Alright, so now we've kind of got our tree started. We're going to make some branches that come off of it. I'm going to tilt it up so you guys can see. So I'm just going to kind of make, I'm going to go at the very tip of my marker and kind of make some short strokes. Do some branches off of this big branch. Maybe do another branch down here. That. And do some little branches coming off of that. Then all we're going to do is just color in these branches. We're just going to color them in using the really, really light touch. Color this one in just a little bit more, just so I don't have really, really big spaces of white. Alright, so now you kind of have a tree, just like that. We're going to do some leaves on these branches. So all I'm going to do for my leaves is I'm going to make kind of like a scribbling motion. Or I'm just going to kind of go around in circles. I'm just going to make really, really basic leaves. Just like that. Gonna do leaves all over this tree. Get those branches. That's kind of what my tree looks like. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do for this background is we are going to make our sun. So all I'm going to do for my sun is just make a circle. It's kind of hard to see because it's really, really bright yellow. You can see it right here. And I'm just going to fill it in. Just color it in. That. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then we are going to make some kind of rays, which are just lines coming out of the sun. Just do that all around your sun. And it should look like that. All right, so we are going to set our background to the side. We are going to grab a piece of paper, and we are going to outline our tiger, this guy. So we are going to make an outline for him first. I'm going to kind of do this so you can see me. So I'm not very good at drawing tigers upside down, so I'm going to do it in small steps and then show you. So we're going to make his head first. So I'm going to look at my tiger. It's kind of as like a reference. So we're going to start towards the edge of the paper and about half to 3/4 of the way up. So I'm going to start him right here. So what I'm going to do for him is I'm going to start with his ear. Like that. And then kind of do like a curve up and down, and make another ear, and then finish his head. Then as I'm coming down from the ear, from this ear, I'm going to kind of curve out to go into his back. Like that, and then like that, there's his back. Then we're going to come back to his chin, and we are going to come down and kind of curve down just like that. And then we'll go into his leg. So we're just going to make a leg. Like that. Come on, just a little bit more. And then this part I can kind of show you a little bit better. So we're going to come kind of about where we stopped here. We're going to come down. We're going to make another leg. Just like that. Then in between, so these are his 2 legs. So then in between there, we're going to make some other legs. Just like that. And we're going to come close to this one, and we're going to make another leg. Just like that. Now the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to make his tail. Come up. And there is your tiger. All right, so now we are going to really, really carefully cut him out. We're going to cut him out all in one piece so that he kind of, so we're just going to cut like all of this inside out. All right, so I'm going to use my scissors. Make sure if you need help, make sure you ask with this part. This part can be kind of tricky if you're a little bit younger. If you are really good with scissors and you know how to cut, then you can go ahead and just do this by yourself after you ask mom and dad. But make sure if you need help, you ask for help. So I'm going to start with his back. And I'm going to make one cut with my scissors. And it's okay if you cut inside this part. Just like keep this outline pretty well intact. And I'm just going to cut him out. Being really careful. And just follow that line that we created. I'm just following that line that I made. And since there are a lot of curves in this one, the best way to cut the curves that I've kind of figured out is to hold the scissors in one place and then kind of turn your paper to get that really nice rounded edge. I'm going to cut his little foot off because it makes it a little bit easier to cut his leg. Turn. I'm going to cut this leg off too, just to make cutting his leg a little bit easier. Right. And we're almost done cutting this out, guys. And I'm going to kind of cut part of this inside out just so I don't have this hanging in my way as I'm trying to cut. Because we are really just concerned about the big piece of paper. The tigers are one of my favorite animals to go see when I'm at the zoo. What are some of your guys' favorite animals? I also really like the penguins. I think those are really fun to go see. And I really love to just watch them swim and stand on the ice. I think they're really cool. All right. So now we have this, but we have cut down the middle of our tiger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tape. I am just going to tape him back together. Just that little spot where we cut. Now he is all back together. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape my outline onto my piece of paper. Put this all the way on the table. Kind of like see where I want him to go. And then it is totally okay if he overlaps with some of the coloring that you did earlier. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some tape and wrap it around itself. So you kind of have something that looks like that. And then we are going to put tape on the back of this lion to kind of help him stay where he's supposed to stay. So we're going to do that around, and we're especially going to do it in between his legs, just to make sure that his legs show up. So all I'm going to do for in between his legs is take a smaller piece of a smaller piece of tape, and then I'm going to roll it up really, really, really tiny so that it can fit in between his legs. Like that. Take another smaller piece and do it in between the other side of it, the other half of his legs. Just gonna move that one up just a little bit. We're gonna do one more on his back. All right, so you can kind of see where I have tape. I have tape up by his head, by his back, and then in between his legs, and then by his tail, and then in his chin. All right, so now we are going to set him down, kind of smooth all of the tape out. Doesn't have to be super perfect, but there's where mine is going to be. So now to make the shaving cream paint, all we're going to do is we're going to take some shaving cream and shake it up. I'm going to pour some in there. I have about that much shaving cream in my bowl. We are going to pour some glue. It can be any kind of glue. White glue works the best, but I'm using Mod Podge, and that totally works too. And I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going to mix this. You can also mix this with your paintbrush. You don't want to get a spoon dirty. And the glue is just going to help our shaving cream stick to our paper. You don't need too much unless you're going to be doing a lot of animals. You can do this with like zebras and anything that has stripes. Or if you want to do something with dots, then you can do that too. All right. So it should kind of have that kind of consistency where it kind of like stays together. And all I'm going to do is take my paintbrush. I'll pull them up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And I am just going to paint. For right now, I'm just going to paint him all white. And we're going to kind of glop it on there. We want it to be pretty thick. So that way we can make some good stripes. Smooth it down just a little bit. You can also do this with your fingers. It's a little bit messier when you do it with your fingers, and you're probably going to have to wash your hands before you move on to the next step. But if you would rather do it with your fingers, that is totally fine. All right, I'm just going to do his face, kind of get all of his ears, mouth and his nose. All right, kind of smooth it out. Make sure there's no really, really big clumps anywhere. Just like that. So now if you kind of look like that, it kind of looks messy and fun. So now what we are going to do is we're going to take our paint. I'm going to take my black paint first, and I'm going to kind of just put some little drops all over. Just kind of splatter this paint all over my tiger. And this is why we made an outline for it. It's a lot easier to do with this outline. So now we're going to take our orange paint and we're going to do the same thing. All right. I think that's probably good. I'll do some up here and some by his ears. All right. So now what we're going to do, you're going to take this paintbrush, so this is what mine looks like right now. And all we're going to do is we are just going to up and down like this. Go up and down like this. Just give him some stripes. Up and down. Just get rid of all of the big splotches of paint. Just like that. So to kind of look like that, we are very carefully going to peel off and we're going to peel straight up. And don't be afraid to ask mom or dad for some help if you need it, because this step is really hard to do by yourself. So the last step that I'm going to do is sometimes when you're taking this off, some of it the tape can kind of get stuck, and some of the shaving cream might lift up. So all we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're just going to kind of smooth out any areas that kind of got lifted up. My ears kind of got lifted up a little bit. So I'm going to do my ears, do my legs a little bit, just to kind of help make them stand out a little bit better. My tail. And there is a tiger. All right, guys, I had so much fun doing this activity with you. I hope that you guys can join us for our last activity of the week at 5 o'clock. And don't forget to send us your pictures of the activities that you make with us. And thanks so much for joining in. Bye, guys.